Bright Duty. Every student matters.
Welcome to another part of this lecture. Now we had started with the drama, The Bishop's Candlesticks. So far we had read that Mary had sold the silver salt cellars which were very dear to Percy. She was very angry, she was very annoyed when she got to know that. We also read that the bishop was late for home because he had gone to visit Mary's mother who was not feeling well. This made Percy all the more angry because she was really concerned about her brother and it was a very cold night. So the bishop came back, he told Mary that her mother was feeling well and he told her to go back. After that, we read the conversation between Percy and the bishop, where the person told him that you are actually like a child. The moment I am not around you, you actually do something that will hurt me. She told him that you are such a kind person that people take advantage of your goodness, that they actually cheat you, they actually tell you that they are ill, but their real intention is to dupe you. They want to take away your money, they want to take away your, blessings. Bishop again said that if people lie to me, then that makes them poor, then that is their fault. It isn't my fault at all. Now, obviously, we read that that person could not say anything to the bishop. She was really tired of his goodness and she decided to go off to sleep and she told the bishop to sleep on time before going. So, we'll continue now. Bishop comes to the table and opens a book, then looks up at the candlesticks. They would pay somebody's rent. It was kind of her to think of that. So after person went to her room to sleep, Bishop comes to the table and he opens a book. After opening the book, he looked at the candlesticks and he talked. Now there wasn't anybody else in the room, so he was speaking to himself. So he said they would pay somebody's rent. This is what Percy had said to the bishop in a sarcastic manner, that one day you are going to sell off your candlesticks and you will say that they also are going to help somebody. So the bishop, being a nice man, he actually took it seriously and he said that person was so kind. She is such a good person that she thought that my candlesticks can also help somebody. So this was such a kind attitude of hers. He stirs the fire, trims the lamp, arranges some books and papers, sits down, is restless, shivers slightly. Clock outside strikes 12 and he settles to read. Music during this. Enter the convicts stealthily. He has a long knife, seizes the bishop from behind. So he stirs the fire. So there was fire in the fireplace. He stirs the fire. Stirring is moving. So he stirred the fire so that obviously it would become more brighter and will give him more of warmth. So he stirred the fire, trims the lamp. So he actually reduced the light of the lamp. He arranges some books and papers. He sat down. He was very restless. He just could not feel very comfortable. Why? Because it was very cold. When it is very cold, till the time you feel warmth, you would not be able to sit or to sleep properly either. So he was very restless. He started shivering also. It was so cold that he actually shivered. Clock outside strikes 12. So there was a clock outside the house in which it struck 12 and he started reading. Music during this, so there is a music which is being played. Now who enters in that time? The convict, and that too very stealthily. Stealthily means very quietly. Without making any noise, the convict entered the bishop's house He has a long knife in his hand and he seizes the bishop from behind. Seizes means get hold of someone. So, this convict, he actually held the bishop from behind and he had a long knife in his hand as well. Convict says, if you call out, you are a dead man. That if you make noise, call out means if you make noise, then I am going to kill you. Bishop says, but my friend, as you see, I am reading. Why should I call out? Can I help you in any way? So the bishop was not at all scared. He said that my friend, you can see that I am reading a book. So when I am reading a book, why am I going to shout? So he asked him that, can I help you in any way? Can I do something for you? Convict says hoarsely, I want food. I am starving. I haven't eaten anything for 3 days. Give me food. Quickly, quickly, curse you. So hoarsely means in a very harsh voice. Okay, this is a voice, the tone of the voice. So the convict told the bishop in a very harsh voice that I want food. I am starving. Starving means very hungry. That I am very, very hungry. I have not eaten anything for 3 days. Give me food. Quickly, quickly, curse you. Now curse you when you are very angry. You know this, the convict saying curse you, and this is not the first time. We will read that he is going to repeat this again and again. And this curse you only tells us how angry the convict was. So he says that I haven't eaten anything for 3 days. I need food. Do that as quickly as you can. Bishop, the moment he heard that he was hungry, he got very eager. Eager means he just wanted to help him. He was very quick in his actions. He wanted the convict to be given food as soon as possible. He says, certainly, my son, you shall have food. I will ask my sister for the keys of the cupboard. So we had read earlier that person actually used to lock the cupboards before sleeping and take away the keys with her because she knew her brother, she knew the helpful nature of her brother and she did not trust him at all. So Bishop said that certainly, that surely, my son, I will give you food. Please let me call my sister. She will open the cupboards and then we'll give you food. Convict says, sit down. The bishop sits smiling. None of that, my friend. I am too old a bird to be caught with a shaft. You would ask your sister for the keys, would you? A likely story. You would rouse the house too. Ah, ha ha. A good joke, truly. Come, where is the food? I want no keys. I have a wolf inside me tearing at my entrails, tearing me. Quick, tell me where the food is. When the convict saw that the bishop was getting up from his chair so that he could call person, he told the bishop to sit down. The bishop also sat down. He was smiling and he sat down. The convict said, none of that, my friend, that this you will not do with me. I am too old a bird to be caught with a shaft. What does it mean? Too old a bird means I am a very experienced person and you cannot cheat me with such tactics. So the convict thought that the bishop was acting smart. He thought that, in order to call his sister, he's going to start shouting, he's going to wake everybody up in the house and then people will come and the convict will be caught and sent to jail again. So the convict told the bishop that I am a very experienced person, I am a very smart person and you cannot cheat me at all. You would ask your sister for the keys, would you? He says that, do you think I trust you? Do you think that I believe that you are going to ask your sister for the money, for the keys? A likely story. Likely story means this is a very old story. Please don't narrate this story in front of me. You would rouse the house. Rouse the house means everybody in the house will be, will come to the room once you call them. Once you start shouting, all the people of the house are going to get up from their beds and are going to come into the room. Oh, a good joke, truly. He said that was a very nice try, a very good joke. You tried your best to be smart. Come, where is the food? He asked again that, please tell me where is the food. I want no keys, he said. No keys are to be required by me. I have a wolf inside me tearing at my entrails. Entrails means intestines. Wolf, we all know. Over here, wolf refers to hunger. So what he meant was that I am so hungry that even my intestines are calling out for food because I haven't eaten anything for the past 3 days. He says, please quickly tell me where is the food. Bishop aside. I wish person would not lock the cupboard. Aside means he spoke this to himself so that the convict could not hear it. So the bishop was actually feeling very sorry that person had locked the cupboard, and he wished that maybe, he was just hoping that person would not have locked it, then it would have been very easy for him to help this convict. And then aloud, so he spoke this to the convict, he said, come my friend, you have nothing to fear. My sister and I are alone here. So convict was told by the bishop that don't worry, please come here. Me and my sister live alone in this house, so don't worry, don't be afraid of anything or anyone. There isn't anyone else in the house other than me and my sister. Convict says, how do I know that? How do I trust you? You are saying that there are only 2 people in the house, but how do I trust you? Bishop says, why? I have just told you. You will have to trust me because I just told that to you. Convict looks long at the bishop. So there was something in the bishop that really attracted the convict towards him. And he was looking at the bishop for long. He was staring at the bishop. Convict said, I'll risk it. Bishop going to door right, but mind, play me false, and as sure as there are devils in hell, I'll drive my knife through your heart. I have nothing to lose. So, convict says, okay, I'll take the risk. So, bishop got up from his seat and he started going towards the right side door. But the convict, warned him again. He said, play me false. Please make sure that if you are going to be, if you are going to do any sort of smartness, if you are thinking of cheating me, then as sure as there are devils in hell, I will drive my knife through your heart. He says, just the way I know, I am sure that the hell is made up of devils. We all know we have 2 places that we have decided, heaven and hell. Heaven is for the good people, hell is for the bad people. So he said that just the way we know that there are devils in the hell, similarly you should know that if you cheat me, I am going to put this knife inside you. He says, I have nothing to lose, that even if I kill you and even if I get caught, there would not be any problem because I have no fear. There is no family or friend of mine who's waiting for me or who's crying for me. Bishop says, you have your soul to lose, my son. It is of more value than my heart. So he says that you probably do not have a family or friend to lose, but you certainly have a soul to lose. If you are going to kill me, it is going to be bad for your soul. You will be going to the hell also. You do something wrong, you also are going to get yourself into the hell. So he says that you have your soul to lose. You cannot do wrong with anyone, and your soul is more important than my heart. So he goes to the door, the right door, and he starts calling, "Person, person." The convict stands behind him with his knife ready. So when the bishop was calling for person, the convict was standing behind the bishop and he had his knife ready in his hand. Person from within. So from the room, person called out, "Yes, brother." Bishop says, "Here is a poor traveler who is hungry. If you are not undressed, will you come and open the cupboard and I will give him some supper?" So Bishop says that here is a traveler, here is a person who was traveling and is very poor and he is very hungry. So if you haven't changed your clothes, then would you please come out of your room, open the cupboard so that I can give him some food? Person from within. So she was still there in the room and she called out to the bishop. She said, "What? At this time of night? A pretty business truly. Are we to have no sleep now, but to be at the beck and call of every ne'er-do-well who happens to pass?" He says, "What? This late? There is a traveler in the house who's come for food so late? A pretty business truly." So a pretty business truly, she actually was mocking the people who took the bishop's help. She felt that the people had made this a business of coming to the bishop's house whenever they felt like, because they were sure that the bishop is going to help them. She further says, "Are we to have no sleep now? So can we not even sleep peacefully, but to be at the beck and call of every ne'er-do-well who happens to pass?" Ne'er-do-well means every useless person who's going to pass by our house. Are we supposed to be at their beck and call? Beck and call means whenever somebody is going to come to our house for help, should we be always available? Bishop says, the person, the traveler, is hungry. So the bishop again told her that it's okay, I understand your anger, but this traveler is very angry. Person says, "Oh, very well, I am coming." Person enters the right. She sees the knife in the convict's hand. Frightened. "Brother, what is he doing with that knife?" So person says, "Okay, fine, I am coming." She entered the room from the right and she saw the knife in the hand of the convict and she gets very frightened. She got very scared. She asked her brother that, "Brother, what is this man, what is this traveler doing with a knife?" Bishop says, "The knife, oh, well, you see, dear, perhaps he may have thought that I had sold ours." So the bishop told person that, "Knife, oh, person dear, I think that the reason why this person brought along a knife with himself is because he would have thought that maybe I have sold my knife also. So he thought, to be on the safer side, I will take my knife along." Laughs gently. Now obviously this was a joke, so he started laughing on it. Person says, "Brother, I am frightened. He glares at us like a wild beast." So person said to her brother aside. Aside means so that the convict could not hear what person was saying. So she said that, "Brother, I am very scared. Just look at the way he's glaring at us. Glaring means to look continuously or looking with anger. So she said that he is looking at us like a wild beast, like a wild animal. Convict says, hurry, I tell you. Give me food or I will stick my knife in you both and help myself. So he said, please be quick. Give me food as soon as you can, or I am going to kill both of you using my knife, and then I will help myself, means I myself will take my food. Bishop told person, give me the keys, person. He gives them to him, and now dear, you may go to bed. So Bishop told person to give him the keys, and after he took the keys from person, he told her to go to her room back, to go off to sleep. Person was going, but then the convict springs in front of her. Springs, jump. So the convict jumped and he appeared in front of person. He says, stop, neither of you leave this room till I do. So he said, you are not going anywhere. Till the time I am there in the house, I want both of you in front of me. She looks at the bishop, so person started looking at her brother. Bishop says, person, will you favor this gentleman with your company at supper? He evidently desires it. So Bishop told person, that person, will you do the favor? Will you be kind enough to help this gentleman by giving your company while he eats food? So Bishop asked person that till the time this man is having his dinner, would you please stay here only? Because very evidently, very clearly he desires it. He wishes for it. He wants your company by the time he is having his food. Person says, very well, brother. Okay, as you say. She sits down at the table staring at the two. So, person sat on the table and she was looking at both of them. Bishop says, here is some cold pie and a bottle of wine and some bread. So Bishop gave the convict some pie. Pie is, something baked. It is to be eaten. It is usually found in the bakeries. So Bishop gave the convict a pie, a bottle of wine and some bread to eat. Convict says, put them on the table and stand below it so that I can see. Stand below it means please stand in front of me. Put all the things on the table, stand in front of me so that I can see you while I have my food. Bishop does so and opens drawer in table, taking out knife and fork. Looking at the knife in convict's hand. So Bishop was obviously doing whatever the convict was asking him to do. He stood in front of the convict. He opened the drawer of the table, he took out the knife and fork from it, and then he looked at the knife which was there in the convict's hand. Convict says, my knife is sharp. He runs his finger along the edge and looks at them meaningly. And as for fork, taking it up, laughs. Steel? He throws it away. We don't use forks in prison. So convict had a knife in his hand, we all know. He ran his finger along the edge of the knife. So the edge of the knife, the sharper side of the knife with the help of which we actually cut things. So the convict, he ran his finger on the edge of that knife and he looked at them meaningly. Meaningly means he actually looked at them with an intention to tell them that if you are going to try smart, I am going to kill you using this knife. So he says that my knife is sharper. And as far as the forks are concerned, he took the fork up and he started laughing. He said, this is made of steel. He threw that fork away And he said that in the prison, we did not use forks. The moment the convict mentioned the word prison, person got very surprised. She said, prison? Because her brother had told her that he was a traveler. He did not mention anything about the prison. Convict cutting off an enormous slice, which he tears with his fingers like an animal, then starts. What was that? He looks at the door. Why the devil do you leave the window unshuttered and the door unbarred so that anyone can come in? Shutting them. So convict, he cuts off an enormous slice. Enormous means very big. So the convict took off a very big slice from that pie and he actually tore that slice using his fingers just like an animal. And then he starts. Starts means he heard something that made him startled. He got surprised. So he said, what was that? What sound was it? And then he looks towards the door. He said that why the devil do you leave the window unshuttered and the door unbarred? So he asked the bishop that why the hell do you people keep your windows open? Unshuttered, shut is close, unshuttered means open. So he said that why do you people keep your windows open and the doors unbarred? Unbarred means without any latch. Why do you keep this way? So that anyone can come in. And he went towards the door and the window and he shut them both. Bishop says that is why they are left open. So Bishop says exactly that is the reason why we always keep our windows and our doors open, so that whenever somebody needs help, so that whenever somebody needs shelter and warmth, he or she can walk through the window or through the door. Convict says, well, they are shut now. That whatever the reason may be, but I have shut your door and your window now. Bishop sighs. Sigh means to take a deep breath. So Bishop took a deep breath and he said, for the first time in 30 years, that these doors and windows have been shut for the first time in the past 30 years. Convict eats voraciously and throws a bone on the floor. So the convict ate whatever food was given to him voraciously. Voraciously means like an animal. So convict ate that voraciously and he throws the bone on the floor. So when he ate the meat, the bone of the meat, he threw it on the floor. Person says, oh, my nice clean floor. Now obviously nobody would like when something like a bone is thrown or something for that matter is thrown on the floor which you keep so clean. So she said, oh, my nice clean floor, it is dirty now. Bishop picks up the bone and puts it on the plate. So the bishop, again and again, he's simply showing us how kind and how good a soul he was. So he picked up the bone and he put it on the table, on the plate. Convict asked him, you are not afraid of thieves? So he said that these burglars, these thieves, are you not afraid of them? Bishop says, I am sorry for them. I am not scared of them. I just feel sorry for them. I feel bad for them. Sorry for them? Ha ha ha. So convict started laughing that you feel bad for the thieves. This is very funny. Drinks bottle from the wine. So the wine bottle was also given to him. He directly drank the wine from the bottle. And he said, that's a good one. Sorry for them. Ha ha. Drinks. What the devil are you? So he again drinks, he laughs, he said, this is nice, this is very funny. You are the first person who's saying that you feel bad for the thieves, who feel bad for these people who do something wrong. He asks him, what the devil are you? What the devil are you means? Who are you actually? How can you be so good to everyone? Who are you? The bishop replied, I am a bishop. So he told him that I am a bishop. Ha ha ha, bishop, holy virgin, a bishop. So, Holy Virgin is obviously Virgin Mary was the mother of Jesus Christ. Now, Holy Virgin is usually spoken by the priests, by the bishops in the church. So, this convict was actually mimicking them. He was trying to imitate them. He was trying to copy the bishop, and he said, ha ha ha, you are a bishop. I think this is how you would be telling people in the, in the church also, Holy Virgin. So this is how you would be talking to the people. Bishop says, I hope you may escape that, my son. Person, you may leave us, this gentleman will excuse you. So obviously the bishop did not like it, because ultimately he was mocking a goddess, Holy Virgin, Virgin Mary is a goddess. So the bishop did not like that. He told the convict to escape it. Escape it means not to speak that again. And then he said to that person, you may leave us, this gentleman will excuse you. So he told person to leave the bishop and the convict alone, and he said that I am sure this gentleman will excuse you, that I am very sure this gentleman will let you go. Person says, leave you with? So person was obviously very scared. Now that she knew that this person had come from a prison, he had a knife also in his hand. So she did not find it very safe for her brother to be alone in that room with that person. So she says that, do you want me to leave you with him? Bishop says, please, my friend and I can talk more freely then. So he says, please do that so that me and my friend can talk to each other in a more free manner. We can be freer, when we are talking to each other. By this time, owing to his starving condition, the wine has affected the convict. Now, since the convict was hungry, since his stomach was empty, so the wine that he had drank, it started affecting him, He started talking like a drunk man. So, he says, what's that? Leave us? Yes, leave us. Good night. I want to talk to the bishop. The bishop, ha ha. So, he was clearly acting drunk now. He said, what's that? That how can you just tell her to leave without taking my permission? So he said that, yes, please go. Good night. And please leave me. I want to talk to the bishop. He again says, the bishop, ha ha. So he was making fun. We are going to read ahead. There was a story behind the convict, because of which he had lost his faith in the humanity. And nice people, good people like the bishop, he did not believe that such people existed, and therefore he was again and again making fun of him. So he laughs as he drinks and cuffs. So he was continuously drinking, laughing, cuffing. Bishop wished person a good night. He holds the door open and she goes outside, holding in her skirts as she passes the convict. So obviously he opened the door, person was going towards her room and she held her skirts tight. Why? Because she did not want to touch that convict in any manner. So she was being very cautious and she left that room. Convict, chuckling to himself, laughing. So he started laughing, he started chuckling, he said, the bishop, ha ha, well, I am, suddenly very loudly. Do you know what I am? So he started laughing, he said, ha ha, so you are the bishop. and he says that I am, and then he pauses. Suddenly he spoke very loudly that, do you know who I am? The bishop says, I think one who has suffered much. So the bishop says that according to me, you are somebody who has suffered, who has been through a lot of pain in his life. So that is what you are. Convict says, suffer? Puzzled, suffered. My God, yes. But that's a long time ago. Haha. That was when I was a man. Now I am not a man. Now I am a number. Number 15729. And I have lived in hell for 10 years. So convict says suffer? He looked very puzzled. He was very confused. He again said, suffered? And then he said, actually, you are right. I have been through a lot of pain, a lot of sufferings in my life. He drinks again and he says that was a very long time ago. He says that was when I was a man. So just see the difference that the convict is pointing out. He says that I actually suffered the pain, I bore the pain when I was a man, when I had feelings in me, when I could actually feel things around me. But now I am not a man. I am only a number, and my number is 15729. He says, I have lived in the hell for 10 years. Here, hell refers to prison. We all know that living in a prison is not something which anybody would like. So he says that I have been living in the prison in hell-like situations for 10 years. Bishop says, tell me about it, about hell. So the bishop asked him about the prison, about the kind of life that he had in the prison. Convict says, why? Suspiciously. Do you want to tell the police to set them off on my track? So convict looked very suspicious. Suspicious means doubtful. So he looked very doubtful and he said, why? So that you can tell the police and set them on my track. Set them on my track means so that once I leave your house, you can tell the police about me and they are going to follow me. That is why you want me to tell you. Bishop says, no, I will not tell the police. So he said that I am not going to tell the police. Convict looks at him earnestly. I believe you. Scratching his head, but damn me if I know why. Earnestly, very sincerely. So the convict looked at the bishop in a very sincere manner and he says that I believe you, I trust you, I know that you are not going to tell the police. And he started scratching his head. We scratch our head when we are very confused. So the convict was confused because he did not know the reason why he was trusting the bishop. So he says, I don't know why I am believing you, but I do believe you. Bishop, laying his hand on the convict's arm, tell me about the time before you went to hell. So the bishop, he kept his hand on the convict's arm. So whenever you have to sympathize with somebody, whenever you have to tell somebody that don't worry, I am there, what do? We either keep our hands on the shoulder of that person or on the arms of that person. So this is exactly what the bishops did. He said, tell me about the time before you went to hell. So okay, we'll talk about the prison later on. But I want you to first tell me about the time that you had, about the kind of life you had before going to the prison. Convict says, it's so long ago, I forget. But I had a little cottage. There were vines growing on it. They looked pretty with the evening sun on them, and there was a woman. She must have been my wife. Yes, I remember. She was ill. We had no food. I could get no work. It was a bad year, and my wife, my Janet, was ill, dying. So I stole to buy her food. They caught me. I pleaded to them. I told them why I stole, but they laughed at me, and I was sentenced to 10 years in the prison. Hulks, 10 years in hell. The night I was sentenced, the gaoler told me Janet was dead. Sobs, he started sobbing. Ah, damn them, God curse them all. So finally, the convict told the bishop the reason why he had changed into a number, why and under what circumstances was he sent to the jail. So he said that it is so long ago that I forget. Obviously 10 years is a very long time. He says that this happened 10 years ago. I had a little cottage and there were vines growing on it. Vine are the kinds of plants, that would grow. So he said there were vines growing on it. Dreamily. And the way he was speaking, it seemed that he was dreaming about that place. He was dreaming about that time. He continues, they looked pretty with the evening sun on them. So in the evening, when the sun would shine on those vines, they looked very beautiful. And there was a woman. And he remembered that there was a woman. And he actually had to think very, very hard to recall who that woman actually was. So he said, she must have been my wife. Yes. So he said that maybe she was my wife. Yes. Suddenly, he remembered everything. So he said, yes, I remember. I have remembered everything now. She was very ill. We had no food. I could get no work. It was a very bad year. And my wife, and what was the name of his wife? Janet. He said that my wife was very ill. She was dying. She was about to die. So I stole to buy her food. So what did he do? He did some sort of a thievery. He stole so that he could buy food for his wife. And then there was a long pause. He stopped. When you are sad, when you are trying to recollect your emotions, you need time. So the bishop gently pats his hand. Patting is very, very, gently when you are hitting somebody, a gentle pat. Patting on somebody's shoulder, head, back, that is patting. So he patted the convict's hand. And the convict continued. He said, they caught me. They refers to the police. So I was stealing something. I was caught by the police. I pleaded to them. Requested. I requested them. I told them why I stole. But they laughed at me. He said that they laughed at me and I was sentenced to 10 years in the prison Hulks. So the name of the prison where he was sent was Hulks, and since he was caught stealing, therefore he was sentenced to 10 years. He was given a punishment of being in the prison for 10 years. 10 years in hell. He again said that I was in the hell, I was in that hell-like prison for 10 years. The night I was sentenced, the gaoler told me Janet was dead. So he says, the same night when I was punished, the gaoler means the one who was there in the prison. Okay, so the gaoler, the policeman in the prison, told him that his wife had died. The moment he said this, he started sobbing, he started crying, but there was a lot of fury, there was a lot of anger in his cry. He said, damn them, God curse them all. So he started cursing all those people who had caught them, and this was the reason, this was the story of our convict, because of which he ended up in the jail and he became what he was.